Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese, Ghostly Tales from Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you a story called Xia. In Wendeng County, there was a person named Jingxing who had been famous since his youth. Jingxing was a neighbor of Qinsheng, and their study rooms were separated only by a low wall. One evening, as Qinsheng passed by a desolate ruins, he heard the sound of a woman crying amidst the pine and cypress trees. Approaching, he discovered a woman about to hang herself from a tree branch. Qinsheng asked her why she wanted to end her life, and the woman, wiping away tears, replied, "My mother has gone far away, leaving me in the care of my cousin. Unexpectedly, my cousin, driven by selfish ambitions, took the money but refused to shelter me. Now I am alone and destitute, better off ending my life." With that, the woman burst into tears again. Qinsheng untied the rope from the tree branch and persuaded her to get married. The woman expressed concern about not having someone trustworthy for a lifetime. Qinsheng then invited her to stay temporarily at his home, and she agreed. Returning home with the woman, Qinsheng lit a lamp and carefully examined her, realizing she was exceptionally beautiful. Qinsheng immediately developed feelings for her and pleaded to sleep with her. Faced with Qinsheng's harassment, the woman screamed loudly, resisting with all her might. The cries reached the next door, and upon hearing them, Jingxing climbed over the low wall to investigate. Seeing Jingxing, Qinsheng released the woman. Upon seeing Jingxing, the woman stared at him for a long time before running out of the door. Both Qinsheng and Jingxing chased after her, but they didn't know where she had gone. Jingxing returned home. He closed the door and was about to go to sleep when he saw the woman gracefully emerging from the room. Jingxing, surprised, asked her why she had come here, and the woman replied, "That Qinsheng is of low virtue and shallow fortune. I wouldn't entrust my lifetime to him." Delighted by this revelation, Jingxing inquired about the woman's name. She said, "My family ancestors lived in the Qi region, so my surname is Qi, and my nickname is Xia." Jingxing, using flirtatious language, teased her, and the woman just smiled without refusing. Thus, Jingxing and she went to bed together. On regular days, Jingxing's study room had many friends coming and going, but Xia always kept the door tightly closed, hiding in the inner room. After a few days, Xia said to Jingxing, "I need to leave here temporarily. There are too many people and distractions. I feel uncomfortable hiding inside. From now on, it's better if I come only at night." Jingxing asked her, "Where is your home?" Xia replied, "It's not too far from here." So, Xia would leave early and return only in the evening, and the two of them continued to share a very affectionate and harmonious relationship. After a few more days, Xia said to Jingxing, "Although our relationship is harmonious, it's ultimately an unofficial commitment. We can only meet in private. My father is an official in the western regions, and tomorrow, my mother and I will go to join him. I plan to seize the opportunity to inform my parents about us, and by then, we can officially become a married couple, growing old together. Jingxing asked. How long will it take for you to come back? Xia agreed to meet him again in 10 days. After Xia left, Jingxing contemplated that the study room was not a suitable long-term residence. Bringing Xia home might lead to jealousy from his wife. He thought it would be better to divorce his wife. Once determined, Jingxing began to speak harshly to his wife. Unable to endure his humiliation, his wife wept bitterly, contemplating suicide. Jingxing cruelly said to her, "If you die, I'm afraid I'll be implicated. You better return to your family early." He continued to press his wife to leave. Tearfully, she said, "I've been married to you for 10 years and never done anything improper. Why are you treating me so heartlessly now?" Jingxing, with no intention of listening to her defense, urged her to leave even more urgently. Helpless, his wife reluctantly walked out of Jingxing's home. As soon as his wife left, Jingxing had the walls painted snow white and the rooms thoroughly cleaned inside and out. Once everything was prepared, he eagerly awaited Xia's arrival, craning his neck and standing on tiptoes. However, to his surprise, Xia was as if lost in the vast ocean, and there was no sign of her. After being divorced and sent back to her parental home, Jingxing's wife repeatedly sought the help of Jingxing's friends, sending messages in the hope of reconciliation. However, Jingxing remained indifferent to her pleas. Eventually, his wife had no choice but to remarry into the Xiahou family. The residence of Xiahou was adjacent to Jingxing's, and the two families had long-standing enmity due to boundary disputes over fields. Upon hearing that his former wife had married into the Xiahou family, Jingxing was filled with resentment. Nevertheless, he still hoped for Xia's quick arrival to bring him solace. Another year passed, but there was still no sign of Xia. One day, coinciding with the birthday celebration of the sea god, the temple inside and outside was crowded with believers, and Jingxing was among them. Suddenly, he spotted a woman in the distance who bore a striking resemblance to Xia. Jingxing squeezed through the crowd to get closer, but by the time he reached her, the woman had already disappeared into the sea of people. He followed closely, watching her navigate through the crowd and exit the temple gate. However, when Jingxing reached outside the temple gate, the woman had already vanished. Unable to catch up with her, he returned home full of sorrow and regret. Another half-year passed, and Jingxing was walking on the road when he encountered a lady. She wore a red dress and rode a black donkey, accompanied by a servant. Upon closer inspection, the lady resembled Xia. Jingxing asked the servant following her, "Who is this lady?" The servant replied, "She is the concubine of Mr. Zhang from the South Village." Jingxing further inquired, "How long has Mr. Zhang been married to her?" The servant said, "Not long, just a little over a month." Jingxing thought to himself, wondering if he had made a mistake. At that moment, the lady in red heard their conversation. She turned around, and her eyes met Jingxing's gaze. Jingxing, seeing that it was indeed Xia, shouted, "Xia! Why have you forgotten our original vow?" The servant, hearing someone being so disrespectful to his mistress, threw a punch at Jingxing. Xia hurriedly stopped the servant. She lifted the veil covering her face and said to Jingxing, "You, heartless person, what face do you have to see me?" Jingxing said, "Clearly, you betrayed me." "How have I betrayed you?" Xia said, "You treated your former wife worse than you treated me. Your ruthless treatment of your lawful wife, and yet you expect goodness from others? I used to believe that, relying on the accumulated virtues of your ancestors, you would strive for success, attain fame, and become a talented person. That's why I wanted to marry you. Now, you have inexplicably abandoned your wife, and even the underworld has cut off your good fortune. In this upcoming provincial examination, Wang Chang, who ranked 6th, will replace your name. I am now married to Mr. Zhang. Please stop thinking about me." Jingxing listened with bowed head and ears, unable to utter a word. When he looked up to see Xia again, he found she had already ridden the donkey and swiftly moved away. Jingxing stood in place, filled with infinite regret and remorse. A few days later, in the provincial examination, Jingxing indeed failed, and the one who ranked 6th was a person named Wang Chang. Xia's husband, Mr. Zhang, also achieved success. From then on, Jingxing acquired a reputation among people as ungrateful and heartless. Later, he remained a bachelor until the age of 40, facing a declining financial situation. In desperation, he frequently relied on the hospitality of relatives and friends for meals. One day, Jingxing happened to visit the Zheng family, and Mr. Zheng warmly welcomed him, inviting him to stay. Xia peered from behind, observing the guest. Seeing Jingxing in a rather destitute state, she couldn't help feeling a bit of pity. She asked her husband, Mr. Zheng, "Is the guest in the hall, Jingxing?" Mr. Zheng replied affirmatively. He also inquired about when Xia had first met him, and she explained. "Before I married you, I sought refuge in his house during a difficult time. I am grateful for his kindness. Although his behavior is low and unvirtuous, the ancestral virtues have not yet been severed. Since you and he are old friends, it's only right to consider his situation and offer him some help." Mr. Zheng found Xia's words reasonable and provided Jingxing with new clothes, replacing his worn-out attire. Jingxing was invited to stay at their home for a few more days. One night, as Jingxing was about to rest, a maid brought over more than 20 taels of silver as a gift. He heard Xia speaking to him from outside the window. "This is my private money. I am grateful for the kindness you showed me in the past. You can use this money to find a new wife. Fortunately, your ancestors' virtues are deep enough to still protect their descendants. From now on, try not to engage in actions that harm the heavens and reason, so as not to diminish the remaining years of your life." Jingxing expressed his heartfelt gratitude to Xia. Later, when Jingxing returned home, he used the silver to purchase a servant girl from a respected family to be his wife. However, the newlywed wife turned out to be both ugly and difficult. After a year, Jingxing had a son who later passed the imperial examination. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang's official position rose to Minister of Personnel. After Mr. Zhang's death, Xia personally saw to his burial. When the family members returned home and opened the sedan door, they found it empty. It was then that people realized Xia was not human. Alas, the heartless man. For the sake of seeking something new, he abandoned the old, resulting in a futile endeavor. Heaven's punishment for Jingxing was indeed severe. Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tale. Xia. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please also encourage everyone to comment and share more. We'll see you in the next episode.